Hi, it's Laura at Aquamarine 18. I'm here with day 11 of the 31 Days of Witchcraft. And today's prompt is, do you believe in the concept of the Threefold Law of Return? So probably for a lot of folks watching this, the idea of a threefold law of return will be something that you're already familiar with, that doesn't need explained. But just in case, someone has never heard of this before, the way that I understand the threefold law of return, in the context of this question, is the idea that whatever one puts out into the world, the magic one puts out in the world, the energy that we put out into the world, gets returned to us threefold or tripled, right? And I guess the short answer of whether or not I believe in this would be no. But the longer answer would be kind of in a sense, and I think that it's, a valuable idea. So I do think that the energy that we emit into the world, and not just through kind of magical workings, but in general, has a way of coming back to us in one way or another. Maybe not threefold specifically, and maybe not in ways that are always recognizable. But I do think that things have a way of coming back. And I think that, in some ways, what I'm more interested in for this question, and this is going to be a ramble, so apologies in advance. What I'm more interested in, in thinking about this question and this prompt, is the kind of function of an idea like this, right? I don't necessarily think that we can quantify energies in such a way as to suggest something returns exactly threefold, right? But I also, at least for me, don't really think that that's the point, right? For me, the point is something more like, how do we think differently in light of something like a threefold law of return, right? How does something like this make us approach our being in the world differently? Does the idea that energy coming back to us in triplicate, for example, make us more cautious about what we put out there, right? And that, I think, is potentially a useful thing to think about. And what I actually am often reminded of here, and this is, again, total tangent, going way off witchcraft here, but bear with me, I will bring it back. I wanted to share something from this book, which is The Gay Science with a Prelude and Rhymes and an Appendix of Songs, and this is by a philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, translated by Walter Kaufmann. Incidentally, I suggest the translations by Kaufmann if you're interested in reading Nietzsche in English. And Nietzsche has this idea called the eternal return. And he introduces it in an aphorism 341 of this text. And I'll just read that briefly. It's two little paragraphs, and say why I think it's relevant and link it back to the threefold law of return. So Nietzsche writes, "The greatest weight. What if some day or night a demon were to steal after you in your loneliest loneliness and say to you, 'This life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more, and there will be nothing new in it, but every pain and every joy and every thought and sigh and everything unutterably small or great in your life will have to return to you, all in the same succession and sequence. Even this spider and this moonlight between the trees, and even this moment and I myself, the eternal hourglass of existence, is turned upside down again and again, and you with it, speck of dust. Would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke thus? Or have you once experienced a tremendous moment when you would have answered him, 'You are a god, and never have I heard anything more divine'? If this thought gained possession of you, it would change you as you are, or perhaps crush you. The question in each and every thing, Do you desire this once more and innumerable times more? Would lie upon your actions as the greatest weight? Or how well disposed would you have to become to yourself and to life, to crave nothing more fervently than this ultimate eternal confirmation and seal? So, in talking about this idea that, what if you learned that your life exactly as you live it, you're going to live it over and over again? Nothing different. Nietzsche's not suggesting that this is how the world works. He's not making a comment about time being cyclical or about reincarnation or any, anything of the sort. It's, in a sense, a kind of a thought experiment, right? How would it affect how you live your life if you believed that you would then live that life over and over again, right? Would learning that be something that you would be happy about? Or would it be something that would be devastating, right? And the idea that this kind of thinking then would, for many, if not most, if not all of us, mean potentially like a really significant reorientation of our life, right? What if we knew that it would come back again and again and again and again? Wouldn't we have to rethink? And it connects to another idea that Nietzsche has that I'll just say, very, very briefly, which is amor fati, called love of fate, right? And in talking about amor fati, Nietzsche says, I want to learn more and more to see as beautiful what is necessary in things. Then I shall be one of those who make things beautiful. Amor fati, let that be my love henceforth. And he goes on to say, someday I wish to be only a yes-sayer. Right? And these ideas, link up, I think, pretty explicitly. And I think that when I think of the Threefold Law of Return, at least for me, I think of something in some ways kind of similar to this, right? An idea that if we accept it, right, or if we not even necessarily accept it as factual, but take it seriously. Take seriously the idea that what we put out into the world comes back to us threefold, right? Then that changes what we put out in the world. And that changes how we think about what we put out in the world, in ways that are worth reflecting upon. So, those are my rambling thoughts on the Threefold Law of Return, on amor fati, on the eternal return of the same. And the ways that thinking about things coming back to us might change how we think about how we walk in the world. So, thanks for sticking with me. I look forward again to seeing other folks' responses and thoughts on this. Do share in the comments if you would like to, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.